Greetings from Snake Mountain Boat Works on September 18. This will be a multiple part Dutchman clinic in response to the many requests that we've received. John is going to walk you through the various steps of putting a Dutchman into the topsides, in this case of the 1946 Brightside U22. Take it away, John.
Well, after inspecting the boat and finding splits in the side of the boat, I decided to put some Dutchmans in. Dutchman is a piece of wood basically filling a spot that covers the crack in a board so that you don't have to replace the total plank on the boat, because that is much more time consuming, and you also won't have the original plank on the boat, which it's really hard to match the grain and the wood and everything else nowadays with the old wood. So what I do is I take my router. In this case here, I've already put in the Dutchman, but there was a split across here, and I'd take my router with a 1/4 inch tool in it, and I'd kind of route out down alongside of each side of the split, and then I'd go make a piece of wood, you know, as close to grain and as close to the wood color as I can get. And I fit it in real nice and tight, and then I put it in with epoxy, Fixo epoxy, and I colored the epoxy with some stain, the color that we're going to put on the boat, so that it'll fill in any voids. And then I have the Dutchman installed. I put in these sticks across in these holes that I've taken the screws out, and I make stitches for the Dutchman.
Well, that's good. So let's start with step one, and we'll go all the way through the process to the end.
Okay, well, I got this Dutchman all ready to go here, and I'm going to show you how we usually put the Dutchmans in. Okay, I fitted the Dutchman nice and tightly to the spot where it goes.
And you taped all the way around it so that...
I taped around it to keep the epoxy off the side of the boat as much as possible. I'm going to take this epoxy and I'm going to kind of just pack some into this spot in here.
And you've already removed the plugs and screws so that your stitches have a place to screw in, correct?
Yeah, I'm ready to put the stitches to it as soon as I get the epoxy work done here. To get enough epoxy in there to actually hold your piece into all surfaces, so I try to get a little bit on everything. That's including the back side of the Dutchman.
And this is the Fixo wood 2.0 with a little bit of our Chris Craft stain in it, right?
Right. That's just to keep the color. Keep the color so that. Sometimes make them a little too tight. Didn't have a whole lot of room for the epoxy around that one. Screw gun. Put these pieces across and put this piece of wax paper on there so that the sticks don't get stuck on it.
Which one are you? Right where I am, right?
Yeah, right where you are. I'm going to put this one here in.
Oh, so you pre-positioned all of the stitches before.
Yeah, didn't want to have a lot of boring time on this setup.
I see you trimmed the previous one to take this one that's at an angle.
Yeah. Oh, I can still get pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
Do a little more tapping on it. That should work the epoxy around it so everything is nice and tight. And
Well, so we're ready for the next installment after this epoxy cures,
yeah.
which will be trimming it back to fair with the plank, right?
Yep, fairing it back in.
All right, that's the end of installment number 3. We'll be back with installment number 4 as soon as this epoxy has cured and John's ready to trim the Dutchman down fair to the planking. Good morning. Here is our final installment in our topside Dutchman repair clinic. The epoxy we put in yesterday has cured and John is ready to take it apart and trim off the excess.
Okay, I am going to remove the stitches. And after removing the stitches, I'm going to take the wax paper off and I will shave back the Dutchman closer to the surface of the boat. And the way I do that is I just take the chisel and peel it.
And you leave the blue tape on as protection around its edges, huh?
I'm close enough when I get down to the blue tape. And an important factor is figuring out the way the grain is running, because you can very quickly chew right down in and bring the wood deeper than the surface. I basically just got to do this until I get to the surface. Or close enough so that I can sand it off real easy. And the epoxy is not so hard that it wrecks the chisel right now.
Yeah, if you let it cure too long, that epoxy gets really hard, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
So this is, we're just about 22 hours after installing the Dutchman yesterday.
This all depends on how comfortable you are with how close you chisel to the tape, because I definitely find that sanding it in is the best final process. as I do this, I'll knock off the epoxy on the edge. Big chunks of epoxy, and then I'll chisel a little closer to the tape. After I get done that, I clean up the bung holes, put screws back in them, and I rebung it. And I rebung it in epoxy. That way the holes are filled. If there's any voids, they're full. And of course now I'm in the danger zone of chiseling without tape on. But I am going to call it close enough before I hit the surface of the boat.
So there we go. One Dutchman ready to be sanded in place until it's fair with the planks. The screws will be reinserted, bungs will be reinserted. I think at that point John will probably apply a bit of epoxy, am I correct, around the Dutchman?
Yes, I'll just lay in a little bit of a layer so that it all sands back. This one don't appear to have any voids around it. Looks real good. So this one may not even need any fairing compound around it. It might just sand in real nicely right the way it is.
Well, there we go. Thank you, John. That completes our topside Dutchman clinic. Bye-bye for now, and thank you from Snake Mountain Boat Works.